All right, welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into day 23 of the curriculum, Fundamental Crypto Research. Look, it's time to transition. We're moving away from being just passive consumers of news and headlines, and we're stepping up to become active, forensic financial investigators. We're going to build out a framework today that will completely change how you evaluate digital assets going forward. I want you to really look at this explicit directive straight from our source text. Learn how to investigate a project. I mean, that sets the tone perfectly for what we're doing here, right? We aren't just casually reading about crypto today. You need to start treating every single project like it's a complex mystery just waiting to be solved. So, here's our game plan. We're going to group the source's 9 raw data points into logical phases to build your investigator's blueprint: core fundamentals, market mechanics, the big picture, and your ultimate research project. Okay, at first glance, this massive 9-point checklist starting at team all the way down to risks, it might look a little overwhelming. But honestly, don't worry. We're going to break this whole thing down step by step so you understand exactly what to look for at every single stage of the game. All right, let's jump right into phase 1, core fundamentals. These first 4 items on our list, they form the absolute foundational bedrock of any crypto asset. Before we even think about pulling up market prices or trading charts, we have to rigorously interrogate what the project actually is at its core, and frankly, whether it even has a real reason to exist. Any good investigation always begins by looking at the human capital and the code they're writing. Team and technology are completely intrinsically linked. You just can't have great tech without a brilliant team, and conversely, a brilliant team is totally wasted on bad tech. You've got to ask yourself, does this team have a verifiable track record? Is the technology actually robust enough to deliver on their massive promises? Are the founders anonymous, or do they have a public, proven history of success? I mean, have they built successful protocols before? And on the tech side, is the codebase actually secure and audited? Are they using a novel, highly efficient consensus mechanism? Or, let's be real, are they just lazily copying another successful chain? If the team is totally unproven and the tech is flawed, your investigation literally stops right here. But if they do pass that initial test, we shift gears from the theoretical build to practical, real-world application, product and users. Listen, a brilliant team and revolutionary tech mean absolutely zero without a functioning product that attracts real, active users. You need to hunt for a tangible, working application. Are people actually paying fees to use this network? You have to verify if there are real, daily, active users interacting with the protocol. You want a living network, not just a bunch of speculators sitting around in a ghost town waiting for a price pump based on empty hype. Moving on to phase 2, market mechanics. So now we pivot from looking internally to focusing on external survival. We have to weigh the project's internal strength, its core identity, against the brutal, unforgiving mechanics of the open market. A project might have a stellar team and an amazing product, but if the market forces of tokenomics, competitors, and liquidity are working against it, it simply isn't gonna survive.
And that brings us to a massive pillar of our blueprint, and honestly, perhaps the most uniquely crypto aspect of your research: the tokenomics.
You have to meticulously interrogate how the economic model of the token actually functions. Does the token have real utility, or is it just some governance token with zero real value capture? How is the supply being distributed? Look, if the founders and early VC investors hold 80% of the tokens and they're nearing their vesting cliff, you absolutely need to know that before you jump in. You're looking for healthy, sustainable incentives that drive a natural balance of supply and demand over years, not just days. Surviving the market also means surviving your rivals and keeping enough financial lifeblood pumping to operate day to day. And that requires a really close look at competitors and liquidity. You've got to uncover if the project actually outpaces its competition, and if there's enough liquidity flowing through its veins. Is this project trying to be just another Ethereum killer in a sea of dozens of others? Like, what is their actual unique edge? And equally important, if you or an institution wanted to buy or sell a significant chunk of this token, is there enough liquidity on the exchanges to absorb those large trades without completely tanking the price? Low liquidity is a massive, glowing red flag. Next up, phase 3, the big picture. Remember, a crypto project doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It heavily relies on its ecosystem. We're talking about the broader network of wallet providers, decentralized exchanges, node operators, and third-party developers building on top of it. That ecosystem is what sustains long-term growth.
Because a solitary, isolated project, that is a highly vulnerable project.
And finally, we arrive at the most critical element of the entire blueprint. This one requires a deliberate pause. We have to talk about risks.
As an investigator, your job isn't just to nod along with their glassy marketing pitch and find what works. Your job is to relentlessly uncover the hidden risks that could make the whole house of cards collapse overnight. We are talking about critical smart contract bugs that hackers could exploit, looming regulatory hurdles from aggressive government agencies, or even hidden centralization, like where one single entity or developer key actually controls the entire network. You have to actively hunt for those worst-case scenarios.
So here it is, your complete 9-point master blueprint, visually balancing the core build on the left against the ultimate stress test on the right. If a cryptocurrency project can actually survive your intense scrutiny across every single one of these rows, from the team all the way down to the risks, well, you've likely found something of immense substance.
Which brings us to the final section, your ultimate research project.
This is the final assignment, exactly as it's laid out in the source text. Research one cryptocurrency from scratch. This right here is where theory finally becomes practice. It is officially time to investigate. Take this 9-point framework from team all the way down to risks and make it your personal toolkit. Don't rely on influencers. Definitely don't rely on hype. And please, don't just skim the headlines. Build your own conviction by getting your hands dirty and doing the forensic work yourself. The blueprint is firmly in your hands now. You know exactly what to look for and exactly how to structure your analysis. So, my final question to you is this. With thousands of projects out there all fiercely vying for your attention and your capital, which cryptocurrency are you going to interrogate from scratch today?